So to get started with this one, I just have this icosphere set up in the middle that I subdivided. I have my camera pointing at it like so. And then if we go to the shading tab, I just have a 3D viewport and then my editor here. So then you can just go to your rendered preview. I'll be using cycles. You can use Eevee though. It doesn't factor in displacement, so you can do whatever you want with that. Then for the lighting, I'm unchecking scene world and just using the built-in forest lighting so we get some nice 3D lighting. Then with our icosphere selected, we can come over here and press new. I'm going to call this Ruby Ore. Then we can zoom out and try to find our nodes. There they are. Then we can go to edit and preferences, and then go to add-ons and search for the Node Wrangler add-on and make sure you check the box here so you have access to all the shortcuts. So then we're going to press Shift A and search for a Voronoi texture. This is going to be the start of our bump, and then we're going to move into the color and roughness after that. So with this selected, we're going to press Control T and then Control Shift and left click this Voronoi texture. Then we're going to take this object into our vector of the mapping. Then on this Voronoi texture, we're going to switch from F1 to distance to edge. And this is going to give us some nice geometrical shapes, or that we're going to factor into the bump. So then the next step is going to be changing the scale to a 10. And we'll press Shift A and search for a map range node. So you can type in range to find it fastest. And then from here, we're going to switch this to maximum value to a 0.5, just like this. So we're not emitting any too strong color or too big of whites. So we're going to split this and duplicate this 4 times actually. So I'm just going to grab this and move it over here. Then I'm going to select these two and press Control J just so we get them in a group together so they're nice and organized. So then with all this selected, I'm going to actually move it even with the mapping node here, just so we can stay organized. Then I'll hold Shift and right click here to add an extra node. And then now we'll select these guys and press Control Shift D, move it under. Oops, we don't actually delete that. We don't want to select this guy when we do it. So we'll select these and Control Shift D now, like so. And then if you hit Shift R twice, it repeats the action twice. So now we have 4. Now we can take this node and grab it and move it in between, and everything looks kind of good. So next step is going to be switching the scales on these extra Voronois. So this one's to a 20, and then this one to a 30, and the last one to a 40. And that's going to give us 4 levels of detail that we'll be factoring in to our bump. So now we're going to do that with a noise texture or 2. So we're going to hit Shift A and search for a noise texture like this, and then bring this vector into here. So if we can preview this, we can see this. And on this guy, we're going to be switching the scale on him to a 1, the detail to a 10, and then we're going to up the contrast. So we'll hit Shift A and add a map range node again. And then on this map range, we're going to take this from maximum, bring it to a 0.6, and the from minimum, bring it to a 0.4. So now we have a good amount of contrast, but we still have it sort of fading. And this is going to be the factor that we use to mix these first 2 Voronois. So we'll hit Shift A and search for a mix RGB. And if we plug the result from here into color 1 and this one into color 2, and then preview with Control Shift and left click, we can see that it's sort of blending and it's kind of overlapping super crazily. But when we plug in our map range into the factor, we can see that it has a distinct difference between the two. It's maybe a little bit strong in your opinion, so if you want, you can always drop this to a 0.3 and this to a 0.7, but I'm going to be keeping it at 0.4 and a 0.6 for this because we're also going to be factoring in the other 2 afterwards, and so the contrast isn't going to be as much of a deal. So next, we're going to add an extra noise texture, and for the sake of convenience, I'm actually going to select all of these right here, and then press H. That's going to hide everything and collapse it because we're not going to be editing these values anymore. So then I can bring them all nice and closely together, and so we're not taking up nearly as much space, and it's much easier to see what's going on. So we just organize everything just like this. Then I'm going to select both of these guys and press Control Shift D and move them both down here. Then I'm actually going to use this one just so it looks better. So anyways, we're going to be switching some of the values here. This scale here, I'm on preview, is going to be a 5, just so that we have some smaller differences. This is the reason we upped that. And then we're going to be factoring that into these mix RGBs. So we're going to select this one and press Shift D. And then we're going to take this color here into color 1. And then color 2 is going to be this map range. And we'll preview. And if we go ahead and use this as the factor, we can see that it's taking up way too much space actually, because it's changing the black and white, and so we want it to only be taking up some of that space. So we're going to press Shift A, and we're going to search for a math node here, and then we're going to switch this function to subtract, and then the value to a 0.25. So what that's going to do is it's going to sort of blend everything together better. So then we're going to duplicate this mix node again. We'll push Shift D, take the color from the previous one into color 1, and this map range into color 2. And then I'm going to duplicate this subtract node, take the previous subtract into the value, and then take the result into the factor. So if we preview this guy, we now have all of our levels of bump factored in. They're a little bit contrasty, and so you can always, obviously, like I said earlier, you can blend these to like a 0.3 and 0.7 if you want. I'm going to be sticking with the 0.4 and 0.6, but it's just a different kind of look. If you want a more natural look, I would suggest the 0.3 and 0.7. If you like the sort of contrasty effect that sort of like pops, then you can stick with the 0.4 and 0.6, or even up it to like something else. Anyways, now that we have all of this, we can factor it into our bump. So I'm going to select everything. I'll grab it and move it down here because it's going to be factoring into the normal, which is on the bottom of our principled shader. And we factor that in the color, which is not what we want to do. Anyways, factor into the bump. We're simply going to press Shift A, and then we'll search up a bump node like this. Shift A, search for a bump node, and then take this color into the height. And then if we preview right here, we can see exactly what's going on, and it's looking okay, but obviously we don't have everything that we want to be going on here because it's not looking very rocky. It's just sort of looking like almost like reptile skin, and that's not exactly what we want. But anyways, I'm going to switch this strength here to a 0.5 like this, and then we'll type this normal into this normal like so. So if we preview our shader, we can sort of see that we have some interesting patterns going on in the raw, but we need a little bit more going into the bump. And to do that, it's really simple. I'm just going to press Shift A, search up another noise texture, take this vector here, into the noise texture. Then on this noise texture, switch the detail up to a 10, the roughness down to a 0.3, and I'll preview. We can sort of see what that's looking like. Then I'm just going to go ahead and factor this into another bump node. So I'll press Shift A and search for a bump node here, like so. Take this factor into the height, and then take this normal into the normal of the previous bump. So what this normal looks like, if we preview with Control Shift and left click, is it's sort of warping everywhere. And then if we preview this bump node, we can see that it sort of combines the two and makes it look a lot more organic. So then we can preview our shader to get a cool view of everything with lighting, and we can see that it's starting to factor in really nicely. And so yeah. Anyway, the next step is going to be moving on to the color. To do that, I'm just going to move up here. Then I'll press Shift A, and then I'm going to search up a noise texture here. Then I'll take this vector into the vector. I'm going to press Control Shift D like this, and then hold Shift and right click, and that'll give us this new node here. So then I'll preview this top guy with Control Shift and left click. I'm going to switch the scale down to a 3. And what we're doing right now is we're making the mask for where we want the ore to be. Then I'm going to switch the detail to a 10. And then I'll Shift A, search for a map range node like this. And we need to up the contrast on this a lot. So I'm going to switch this one on the top to a 0.35. And then this from max to a 0.4 like this. And we can sort of see that they're kind of looking, they're not very swirly. So I'm going to switch the distortion on this noise texture to a 0.5. And that's going to give us some cooler patterns in the Ruby for the mask. Anyways, I'm going to duplicate this map range down to here. And then on this one's factor, we're going to leave, or scale, we're going to leave it at a 5. But switch the detail to a 10. Then we'll take the factor into the value, preview, and then we're going to actually lower the amount of Ruby that's in this one. So we're going to take this top value to a 0.25, and the from max, we're going to put it at a 0.3, just like this. So that's going to lower everything a bit, and obviously it's not making a huge impact, but it's going to be very subtle, and it'll look good in the final preview. Anyways, we're going to hit Shift A and search for our mixed RGB now to mix these together. We're going to take the top one into the factor and into color 1, and the bottom result into color 2. So what that's going to do is it's going to mix them together, but it's not going to have any clipping going on between them because we're also using this as the factor. Then the next step is going to be factoring this all into our our roughness, actually. So we'll hit Shift A and we're going to search for a map range node like this. Then I'm going to take this color into our value here. And then if we Control Shift and left click to preview, it looks the same for now. But we're going to be switching the minimum value and the max value to represent what we want the roughness to be. So this minimum value I'm going to change to a 0.3. So that means the minimum roughness is a 0.3, and the maximum roughness I'm going to move down to a 0.5. So they're sort of closer together. Then after this, I'm going to hit Shift A and search for a math node, and I'll put that in between, and then switch the value to a 0. So what this is going to be is our roughness control, is we can up the roughness as a whole like this, or we can decrease it as a whole. And then if we can lower the roughness of the ruby by this top value here, and then we can increase the roughness or decrease the roughness of the rock with this 2 max value. So that's what those are going to do. Then I'll just take this math node here and plug it into the roughness. I'm going to leave it as 0 because I like the 0.3 and 0.5 values. So now we can preview the shader, and we can see that we sort of have some different roughness. It's sort of hard to see right now, but I'll take this base color. If I move it to something like a gray, you might be able to tell the difference between the roughness in some parts, or maybe not. Who knows? But anyways, this next step is going to be moving in the actual colors. So because we have our mask already, all we have to do is hit Shift A. We'll search for a mix RGB. We'll take this color into the factor, and then now we have where we want everything. So if we move this to like a rock color and this to a ruby color, we're not going to be using these colors exactly, and I did it backwards. So we're going to hit Shift A and search for an invert node just to fix that. So now we have the colors where we want them. And so now we're going to get the exact colors for these. And to do that, we're going to actually reuse this noise texture and then a couple mix RGBs. So I'm going to hit Shift A, search for a mix RGB right here. Then I'm going to take this factor into this factor. And then I'll press Control Shift D on this guy to get a second one. Then I'll hold Shift and right click to stay organized like so. So on this top guy, we're going to have our rock colors. And then I'll give you the hex values I'll be using. They'll also be on your screen. I'm going to be using an 8D9398. Again, that is an 8D9398. Nice. And then this other value, I'm going to be using a 545561. And that is a 545561, like so. And if we preview this guy, we can see that it's sort of looking like a rock color. Then we have this mix node down here, which is going to be our ruby colors. And it's going to be a 9B111E. Again, that is a 9B111E. Then this bottom one, it's going to be a bit darker. It's going to be a 6E0023. Again, that is a 6E0023. Just like that. So now we just have to plug these into this mix node. So we'll take this color into color 1 and this color into color 2. And if we preview, we have this. And then if we want to further adjust these values, I'm going to hit Shift A, search for a Hue Saturation node, and place that in between these guys. I'm actually going to move this guy up here, get him out of the way, and then duplicate this guy here. Now we have a better adjustment. And if you don't want a ruby to be your ore, you can easily now, with this Hue Saturation, change the hue. You can switch it to something like a blue if you want something like a lapis or a topaz, or you can switch it to something like a gold with the saturation, decrease value, or increase value, whichever you prefer, etc. So now you can adjust the colors all easily like that. On this rock, actually, I'm going to adjust it currently because I don't like how bright it is. So I'm going to take the value here, move it down to 0.1. Then I'm actually going to tint it a little bit. I'm going to change this hue to a 0.1 as well. That's going to make it sort of like a greenish rock, and that's going to look really good with the ruby because red and green go well on the color wheels and things like that. So then I'm just going to take the result of this and plug it into our base color. And we can see that it's affecting things quite nicely. But the ruby sort of looks like it's just painted rock. And so we need to be switching some things around for that. And that's not very difficult. All we have to do is hit Shift A. I'm going to search for a map range node here, like this. And then we're going to be factoring this into a little bit of bump. And on this guy, we're going to switch the 2 max to 0.5. And if we preview, again, we can see it's like this. And we're going to be adding this guy to this mix node down here. So I'm going to press Shift A, and we're going to search for a mix RGB. Put that here. We're going to switch the function or the blending mode to an add, and the vector to a 1, and we'll check clamp. Then we're going to take this result of this map range all the way down here, and we'll plug it into one of the colors. And so now if we preview this guy, we can see that the ruby is sort of bumping out, and it's sort of adding on to everything. Then if we preview the shader, now that we've done that, we can see that it's sort of starting to stick out and show itself a little bit more, but there's still one thing that we need to do to factor into this to make it look more poppy, so it looks a little bit nicer. And that is our metallic, because ruby is a sort of metallic-ish rock. Anyways, we're going to take this invert node right here and plug it into the metallic map like so. Then we can preview our shader again, and we can see now, if I'll move around and zoom in, that our ruby is starting to look a lot shinier, and it's sort of popping out quite a bit more like so. Now, with all of this done, I'm going to go ahead and check clamp on this math node. Actually, it's not going to change anything, but for later, if you're adjusting the roughness values a lot, it might. Yeah, anyways, that is our finished setup here, and I'll go ahead and go over the controls once again so you can change everything really easily. Obviously, the color, you can up the hue to something like a 1, or mess with that, and you can change the color of your ore. You can adjust the color of your rock. You can say up the saturation to a 2, maybe, and up the value to a 1, and then boom, you've got a completely different colored rock. I'm going to leave it at its base for now, though. You also have your adjustment on how much of the ruby you want there to be taking place. So if you want, you can always hit the plus sign on this twice, and then boom, you've got a bunch more ruby. Or you can lower it a bit, and then you have way less. But yeah, you can adjust things there. You can also change the scale of this. You can change the scale to say a 1. Then you have bigger values. You can change the scale up to like a 15. And then you've got smaller gems here and there. I'm going to leave it on its base, which is a 3. You can also do the same thing with this guy. You can up it to like 15, and that will change a little bit. You can lower it to a 1, change some things. You can leave it at a 5. You can also change the values on this one and adjust things in that way, like this. Obviously, I think that looks a little bit better than the original, depending on what look you're going for, but we'll go for the more subtle look. So you can adjust that. You can also adjust the roughness with this math node, and you can adjust the bump levels here. And you can also easily adjust the Voronoi textures, the scales on these guys. You can just up them, minimize them as you please. Anyways, that is a finished material. Hopefully you enjoyed and can use this in your renders and have it looking superb. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.